Jeroen. I hope I got that right. Jeroen van Bemmel. And we're going to be getting into improving automated provisioning workflows with NetBox. But I won't steal too much of your thunder. I'll let you go ahead with your presentation.
All right. Can you see this?
Yes, coming through.
All right. So hello, welcome. My name is Jeroen van Bemmel. I'm with Nokia, and I was asked or invited to come and share some of the things we've been doing with NetBox recently. So for most people, they may know Nokia from the phones, illustrated here with a popular game. But we actually do have, these days, we have data center equipment as well. For example, this switch over here, this is a D2. And so we have customers that are asking us, hey, we have NetBox, can we add or model your Nokia network devices in our system? And until recently, the answer unfortunately was no, but with some little help and little effort, we've been adding our devices, modeling devices in NetBox, and that's what I wanted to share with you today. So these devices, they're actually based on merchant silicon.
Jeroen, just so you're aware, we're not actually seeing your slides advanced. We're seeing basically your whole PowerPoint.
Can you see it like this?
Yeah, we see that advance.
Okay. No. All right, sorry about that. So the devices, our network devices are based on merchant silicon, and the differentiator, what makes them different, is in the software part. So on there you have an operating system which we call SR Linux. It's basically Linux based, and it's designed to be open, so we can easily add things like the items we're going to be talking about here. So I have 3 quick snippets topics for today, from more concrete to more future looking. So first I'm going to be talking about how we can add Nokia devices to NetBox and model them in NetBox. Then I'm going to show you quickly in what I call an agent-based discovery prototype to automate the population of NetBox using those models from point 1. And the third is a more future-looking idea for a QR code scanning plugin idea. And for that, I'm going to ask for help from the community. So here's some screenshots of the model that we added. So I added a couple of devices there. I'm assuming you're familiar with NetBox. So this is actually contributed to the community device type library. So you can see on the left, there's different device types for the different devices, and these are modular devices. So there is power units and fan units that you can have, and you can have different types of those, front to back, back to front. So I try to model all of those and make it consistent with what's already being done in NetBox. As you can see on the top right, the bottom right, where as Jeremy was talking about, so I also added or uploaded images for the front and the back of the devices, because I think it's nice if you can really visualize the racks that you have. And I would say it's a work in progress. I understand there's a new refactored version of the tool coming out with those images added, and not too many vendors have them today. But we made them available, and we're happy to work with the community to make that work nicely and populate that into the into NetBox so that customers and users can visualize their systems. For the provisioning, so once you have the model and you can put it in, you can express it in NetBox. I think it's nice if you can automate the discovery or the population of those devices into the database. And last week we actually had a call where some people from NetBox from the community were looking at like an off-box type of provisioning flow or prototype. And this is similar to that. This is a variation to that, but this is what I would call an agent, or you can say a Python script that runs on each device. And so when the device comes up for the first time through a ZTP, zero touch provisioning workflow, it will go and use the NetBox API to populate NetBox with its data. And in the prototype, that's of course the accurate device model that you have. There's different models. It will tell NetBox which type it is. It will report its management IP, and then the number and the type of power modules and installed fan modules. So I think that's pretty neat. I think this I think this is possible also on other vendors. I haven't seen it in combination with NetBox yet, but I would invite everybody and invite feedback, and also, you know, if people like this idea, I would invite the other vendors to do the same, so we can really make it easy for people to get started with NetBox and populate it with the correct data. One thing that's missing, and which I think is pretty critical, is the rack location, right? So where exactly is that device populated? And this agent won't be able to do that because it doesn't have the physical data to tell that. So for that part, we were thinking, well, there's these QR code or barcodes on devices that you can scan, and customers have actually asked us about this. Hey, can we not scan these barcodes and use that to populate NetBox? And in Nokia case, it's a data matrix format, but I think again, most vendors will have some kind of a data a barcode on their devices that you could use for this purpose. And so there's a excuse me, illustration there, and I built what I call alpha version prototype, what it could look like. So there's an HTML5 library that I found that can do the QR provisioning, the QR scanning, and you could populate it into NetBox and make a plugin so that you can provision that. And this example screenshot here, the idea would be that you go to a particular rack, so you open the correct rack, and then you use your device, a mobile device, to scan the barcode, and then that device would get added to that specific rack. And this is something we would need some help, or we could use some help from the community. I'm not very familiar with the with NetBox and especially front end, the UI, how it's all built and what's the best way to do it. So if there are people that could help with that, it would be really really appreciated. And lastly, so again, I think the agent, the either on box or off box, that can take care of like things like serial numbers and device types, and it could be complemented with this physical location aspect through the QR code. So one way to do that would be to have a QR code on every rack or even on every slot in a rack, and then as a workflow, scan that QR code, scan the device, and then that way populate NetBox with the correct device in the correct location. I believe that's my my 7 minutes. I open the call for questions, discussion.
Jeroen, that is very cool. I like the idea of having that agent running directly on the switch. I've seen that with server provisioning before, where a server will phone home into NetBox. I've not seen that done from a network device before. That is a really cool implementation. Mm-hmm. Ryan, looks like you got a question here. You're on a roll. What do you got?
Really, just two comments. One being for the input of data, the QR code scanning, that's definitely a new, interesting take. Just to bring it to your attention, for the kind of marking assets with a printed QR code, there is a plugin for that. So just I'll share that if anyone's interested, called NetBox QR code. Put it in chat. And then the other piece is more, so kind of like how Jordan was mentioning, an agent on the box and pulling data. It reminds me very much like Salt and how you can install a lot of the agents on a lot of the network gear as well. So good job, interesting take. Definitely appreciate the presentation.
All right, and yes, I am aware of the QR code. Actually, this alpha plugin was based off the existing NetBox QR code. It's just that it has a different take on QR codes. I think it produces QR codes rather than reading them, so it doesn't really do this. But yes, the idea would be to add to the existing QR code plugin rather than build a new one, if possible.
Makes sense. Cool. Wouldn't it be great if we got to a point where Panduit and APC and all the rack manufacturers came up with a way to allow switches to self-identify what rack unit they were in? That'd be cool. Maybe
Yeah.
one day.
Maybe.
I'm still waiting for LLDP over power.
One day.
One
and
day.
then there'll be 5 different versions on how to implement it, like everything
Well,
else.
Of course, of course.
There's an XKCD on that.
Yeah, relevant XKCD. There always is. Awesome. So Jeroen, thank you so much for the presentation. I believe we're going to try and make these slides available afterwards as well. So look out for that when we start just advertising, the replays and everything.